Okay, so we're looking at the second part, the second half, starting at number 11 on your group quiz. Okay, this is going to be exactly like your test, but just barely different numbers. Okay, so make sure that you're taking notes.
Anybody else?
Reviews? Excuse me. Also, if you guys have a calculator, get it out. Okay, if you have a calculator, get them out. If you don't have a calculator and you need one, you can come use one of mine, but you have to leave either your ID or your phone. Okay, so come get them.
I put my shoe in there.
Okay, while you guys are doing that, I'm starting, so let's hurry up. Okay, on number 11, it says an observer is standing 27 feet from a flagpole. She's looking at the top of the flagpole. How tall is the flagpole? Okay, this makes a triangle, so we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, Pythagorean theorem says a squared plus b squared equals c squared. What should I plug in for a? What should I plug in for a?
Hold up.
27. You can't see that? It's on your paper.
Standing in the way.
Okay, guys, hurry up. So, plug things into the right place. 27 goes for A or B, doesn't really matter. Okay, 27 squared plus B squared equals, this side is the hypotenuse because it's the one across from the right angle. Okay, so equals 32 squared. Then you have to solve. Okay, so then you have to solve. So on your calculator, do 27 squared, and what do we get? 729. Plus b squared equals, what's 32 squared? We're on number 11. This is where we left off. 1024. Then, how do I solve? Subtract from both sides, so we get b squared equals, what does that give you? 295. And how do you solve for b? Square root it, and what does that give us? 17 point, it's like 175. If I ask you to round to the nearest tenth, how many decimal places is that? One decimal place. So what should your answer be? 17.2. Okay, 17.2. Technically, it also needs to say feet. Okay, 17.2 feet.
What if you forget the feet?
It's kind of important, so try to remember. Okay, a triangle has side lengths of 10, 22, and 26. Is the triangle a right triangle? So if we label, just make any triangle, which side is the only one that actually matters? Can I just put them anywhere on here?
No.
Can I put the 10 anywhere? No. Where does it need to go? On the side or on the bottom? Okay, I drew my triangle, so it would probably make more sense to be here. Where should the 22 go? The hypotenuse or the bottom? The bottom. And the 26, the largest number is always the hypotenuse. How do we determine if this is a right triangle? Plug in to the Pythagorean theorem. So is 10 squared plus 22 squared equal to 26 squared? And I want to see this worked out. So 10 squared gives you what? 100 plus, what's 22 squared? 484. Is that equal to, what's 26 squared? 676. Is that equal? No. So what does that tell you? Not a right triangle. So is the triangle a right triangle? No. When it says explain, what does that mean? You can say because the Pythagorean theorem does not work. Okay? Or you could say because 10 squared plus 22 squared does not equal 26 squared. Okay, so explain. I want to see some words. Okay, it can't just be yes or no. You will not get credit if you just write yes or no. Okay, next one for number 13. It says in the figure at the right, find the measure of angle 8 if the measure of angle 2 is 65. So start labeling this. So measure of angle 2 is 65. Let's try to fill in as many other angles as we can. Okay? Say it again?
5 would be 65.
Why would 5 be 65?
Isn't that like,
Those are corresponding. No, those are not corresponding. Okay? Those ones, I'm sorry, if they're corresponding, then they equal 180.
oh wait,
You're thinking alternate.
yeah. Is 8 and 2 the same angle?
8 and 2, why would those be the same? Because they're alternate interior, yes. So 8 and 2 are the same because of alternate interior angles. Okay? So 65 degrees. That's it. Okay? And the reason that works is because these are alternate interior angles. Okay? Alternate interior angles. For 14, it says, what is the value of x in this triangle? What do you know that all of the measures inside a triangle will equal?
180.
180. So set up an equation. 35 plus 2x plus another 35 equals 180. And then we can solve. What would I do first here to solve? Add 35 and 35, so that's 70 plus 2x equals 180. Then subtract the 70. That leaves you 2x equals 110. Then what? Divide by 2, and we get x equals what? 55. Okay, you can either do that in your head or you do have a calculator. Questions on how I did that? Are you writing all these down?
Yeah.
No, you didn't. Okay, what's the last one then? Yeah, since you looked at mine.
I have it all down.
Anyone still going? We good? Okay. On number 15, it says the Pentagon building in Washington, D.C. is named that because it is in the shape, of a regular pentagon. What is the sum of the measures of its interior angles? How do we find the sum of the measure of the interior angles? There's a formula for this. The formula, so the sum is equal to 180 times the number of sides minus 2. In this case, what am I plugging in for the number of sides? How many sides are there in a pentagon? 5. So plug things in. 180 times 3 gives you what? You have a calculator. 180 times 3 is 540. Okay, 540 degrees. So if you know all your formulas, this should be pretty basic for you. Pretty easy. Okay, find the distance between these 2 points. Find the distance between these 2 points. So we want to find this distance if you drew a straight line. How do I do that? Make a triangle. Okay? Make a triangle, a right triangle, and then we can use the Pythagorean theorem. So how far is it to get from here to here? How many spaces is that? Not 12. How long is the bottom? Count on your paper. 4. How far is it to get from the bottom up to the top? 12. So how do I find the distance here? Guys, what do we do? Pythagorean theorem, right? So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. A squared is what? What's a? 4. So 4 squared plus 12 squared equals c squared. What's 4 squared? 16 plus what's 12 squared? 144 equals c squared. If you add those together, what do we get? 160 equals c squared. And I want you to do the square root of 160. What does that give you? 12.6. Okay, 12.6. And technically this should be, it should just say units. So 12, you can just write 12.6. You don't have to write units on there. Yes. No, you can use any of your notes. Okay, number 17. Find the value of x. Okay, find the value of x. Anyone have any ideas? How do we find the value of x? Amber? Say that again? Close, not quite. Yeah, Richard? Okay, how do we do it? Okay, couple different ways you could do this. Okay, listen. Guys, listen. 2 different ways you could do this. You could do like Sydney said and find this inside angle. Because you could do 52 plus whatever this one is equals 180. Or you could use exterior angles of a triangle. We know that this outside angle is equal to both of these added together. So 52 is equal to these 2 added together. So x plus 14. Okay? Either way would work. There's a couple different ways you could do this problem and get the right answer. So if we add these together, you get 52 equals 2x plus 14. Then what? Minus the 14. So subtract 14. What's 52 minus 14? Have a calculator if you need it. 38. And then how do we get x by itself? Divide both sides by 2. So what equals x? 19. Okay, 19 would equal x. And then the last one, you guys only have 18 problems on this, okay? Last one says find x. Find the value of x in this figure. There's 20. Oh, sorry. Next page. My bad. Okay. How would I find these? Can they be equal to each other? Close, but not quite. Okay, this one is the same as right here, right? So this is also x plus 35. Okay, because these are vertical angles of each other. These would be equal to each other. Now, if you make that C, or the U shape, these 2 together, since they're inside there, are equal to what? 180. So now you can set x plus 35 plus 2x plus 1 equal to 180. How do I solve this side? Combine like terms. So x and 2x gives you 3x. Plus 35 and 1 is 36 equals 180. Then what? Minus the 36, so subtract 36 from both sides. We got 3x equals what? What's 180 minus 36? 144? And then divide by 3. You have a calculator if you need it. And what do we get for that? 48. Okay, so 48. And this is actually degrees. Questions on how I did that? Please. Please. Oh, sure, no problem. Yes, sir, Richard. Sir. Okay, last ones. Okay, find the perimeter. We just did one just like this. Okay, how do I find that missing side? This is the one that Jasmine just asked on our review. Find the hypotenuse. Excuse me. So, how do I find the hypotenuse? Pythagorean theorem, exactly. 5 squared plus 12 squared equals c squared. What's 5 squared? 25. Plus, what's 12 squared? 144 equals c squared. Add those together, what do we get? 169 equals c squared. What's the square root of 169? 13 equals c. So replace this with 13. Now, finding the perimeter means I do what? Add them all together. So 13 plus 12 plus 5.
30.
Add them all together. What do we get? 30 inches. Add them all together to find perimeter.
That was the easiest one.
Good. Okay, and then the last one. Cody painted a right triangle on his paper. So let's draw a right triangle. The hypotenuse is 16 inches. So we know the hypotenuse is the longest side. It's also the one opposite the right triangle. Or the right angle, excuse me. The hypotenuse is 16. One of the legs is 6. Doesn't matter if you put it on the side or the bottom. We want to find what's the length of the other one. So what kind of formula are we using? Pythagorean theorem, right? We're doing this a lot. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. What is your a squared? What should I plug in? 6 squared plus b, we don't know, equals, what's your c squared? 16 squared. If we plug in, what's 6 squared? 36 plus b squared equals, what's 16 squared? 256. Then what? Subtract the 36. Leaves you with b squared equals, what's 256 minus 36? 220. And then what? Take the square root of 220, and what does that give you?
14.8.
B equals 14.8, and we're talking about inches. Okay, remember, for all of these problems, everything on this whole test, I want you to round to the nearest tenth, so that means 1 decimal place. Does anybody have questions?